Ever.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
That's nice.
But hey, welcome back to another episode of House of Podcast.
Yo. Can't hear you.
Oh, you
We
hear me
can,
now?
but just turn the music down.
turn it off.
All right, it's
There
all
we
good.
go.
Hey, I'm here now. But welcome back to another episode of House of Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Hewitt. I'm here with my guys, Smoog and Chubbs. And this week we have a special guest, my guy Tavares, aka Last Word Productions. Appreciate you for joining the show, man. You know, I found your content on TikTok. You are a Lamar Jackson defender. I think that's how I found your content. And when I'm not on this podcast, I am a Lamar Jackson defender. But when Chubbs is in the vicinity and he's a Ravens fan, I can't defend Lamar. I gotta get in my Steelers Ravens tag. So
He becomes the biggest hater in the world.
yeah,
I understand, man. Trust me, as a dude who's a Dolphins fan and watching Josh Allen play, it's bittersweet for me. So I understand.
I love that you didn't even acknowledge the people that have been running your conference or your division for years, the Patriots. I love it. You just glossed over them, said Josh Allen. I love it.
I mean, listen, I got all the respect in the world for Bill Belichick over there, man. I do, but right now, Josh Allen, they got it right now, man. You got it.
Nah, you just can't. All right. Let me finish introduce the podcast because I don't like how you just conceded to the Bills like that, man. You got all right, hold on. Before we get started, few housekeeping things, man. If you're on YouTube, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you're on any of the audio platforms, make sure you guys download the episode. That helps us get higher and higher in the rankings. And when you like the video, that helps people view our videos. So appreciate everybody that does that each and every week. And if you're trying to follow us on social media, Twitter, hdsportspod, TikTok, Instagram, House of Sports Pod. But why did you just concede to Josh Allen like that, man? Y'all got the same record.
Nah.
Y'all beat him.
Nah, they 9-3, we 8-4. So they lead the division right now.
Dang, I did just lose. Dang, all right.
But let me put it like this, man. I mean, in the last, I think it's been 3 years, 4 years, something like that, we've beaten this team one time. Josh Allen has a ridiculous passer rating against us, QBR, TD-INT ratio. The dude has been, to say the least, a pain in the ass for the Dolphins fan base for about 4 years now. And I can't, as much as I love my team, as big as a fan I am, I'm not going to lie to myself about what I see on the field. The dude is just owning us, and he has been for quite some time now. Now, do I think that could change? Yes, because our team has the talent. We have the players who's capable of making the plays in order to maybe match his intensity and also outplay him. But at the same time, well, for what I seen this last Sunday from Tua, I'm not fully sure I'm putting my hopes into him come late January or December, because at the end of the day, listen, I'm going to say this. I tell everybody this all the time on my show. By the way, guys, whoever tuning in, Last Word Productions, like man said, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, I'm everywhere. So y'all just look it up, y'all, to find me. But anyway, the man simply in December and January does not play his best. The numbers supported, the stats, the film, even if you just watch this past Sunday, he's just not the same guy. And I have no idea why. I'm not going to say give him the weather excuse. He's played football his entire life. Don't tell me you can't play in a little cold weather. That's not what it is.
I mean, he played in Alabama. He played in where was he? In Hawaii, you know.
Right. Which is all true. Which I'm not denying that it doesn't impact him at all. But it shouldn't impact him to the point where he's a completely different player. That's where I lose my disconnect. And the reason being, I say I don't feel as if it's because the weather, is because, simply put, the pressure of the game is what matters and what impacts players' performances. And I think that's what got to him last week, or this past Sunday. He knew coming into this game, this was the number one defense across the board. They haven't let up a touchdown in the second half of 4 straight games. This is a team that's going to be a measuring stick for him and the organization as a whole. And I think that got to him a bit. He was missing passes, high on throws, low on throws, overthrowing guys. It was a bad game all around. I haven't lost all faith in the man like how some people have, but I'm not going to defend him in hell high water either like other people have. I'm in between. It's like, this is it. You got the team, you got the talent. It's time to put it together. If you can't, then maybe it's time to move on.
I think that's a little bit of harsh criticism for Tua.
I don't like how he ended that on the.
I love that take. Thank you.
It was not. It was great. It was great.
Because you're a Dolphins fan. Thank you for sticking to the facts. Thank you for not giving him so much praise so early. And I appreciate
so early. It's 12 games into the season.
But here's my thing. Here's my thing. You're saying if they don't say they go to playoffs and you don't win the playoff game, you're saying them possibly look somewhere else? Because
what I'm saying is,
I think he's made strides. I think he's made, like I said to my boy, like Joey's not here, our other co-host, he couldn't make it. He's a Dolphins fan also. From last year's Tua to this year's Tua, I believe he's shown growth and made strides to warrant him at least another season after this.
Yes, I know. My thing is, I don't disagree with that necessarily. This is why I'm coming in. I look at it from two perspectives. Because for one, it's like Charles Barkley once said, the best ability is availability. He's missed more than 2 games each and every season. And the quarterback position, I tell my friends this, the other people I've done shows with all the time. The quarterback position is the one position that cannot be a constant out. That has to be out on the field each and every week. You have to play. And this is a guy, even going back to his high school days, he's never played a full season in his career. Never. He's always had some kind of nick and bruises that held him out in the season, whether it was in high school, Alabama, now in the NFL. And that's a bit concerning for me. Even after this game, they said he had a bad ankle and another unannounced injury or something like that, but he shouldn't be out for next week. And as much as I love Tua, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna let this be known that I wanted Tua. I wanted him over Herbert. In fact, I was a vehement believer in if he was healthy, I thought he should have been the first pick in the draft. Now, that being the case now, that don't look like such a great take that I had anymore. But at the end of the day, I stood by it because I know he has the talent. I never once questioned his ability. My thing is, when you accumulate the injury history with the poor performances when it matters most, it starts to trouble you because it's been 3 years. I'm not asking for him to be Pat Milhomme. I know he can't never be that. That's one of one players right there. What I'm asking him simply to do is to make the throws that are there. And come January, come December, he hasn't done that. Now, can it be better? I believe so, because again, he has the weapons, he has the talent. But he has to prove that first. That's what it comes down to for me.
But I was saying, I feel like it's a little harsh because this game, went against the number 1 defense, one of the best, if not the best, defensive line in the league, and your best offensive lineman was out of the game, right? That's a huge thing, I feel like. So, that's why I feel like it's a little harsh. I got to see if I did tell Joey today that Tua hasn't historically played well in cold weather. He told me that was a terrible take, but that's what I said. But I think that's going to be better. I agree with you. I thought Tua should have been number 1 overall pick too, if he was healthy, because he was good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He was the best quarterback prior to him being injured. So
I hope that's not true, because say they don't get one of these, they don't win the division. They either got to go to Buffalo, which is cold in January. Say I don't know what's going to happen with the Ravens because Lamar might be out a couple games. But say Lamar or Cincinnati win the division, that's cold places come January. KC is cold come January. So
Tennessee too.
And Tennessee, yeah. So I hope that's not true.
The only team he got to worry about is if you got to go to Buffalo or KC.
I'm talking about cold. It's cold.
He ain't got to worry about Cincinnati. He do got to worry about, but the Ravens and Titans, I don't think they got to worry about.
Why I'm about to challenge Dwayne on this one. Why are we sitting up here blaming Tua's performance on the cold weather?
No, I didn't. Not yesterday.
No,
I didn't
blame him.
I blame his performance yesterday on his best
let's take a step
Hold up.
back.
I said they were gonna lose yesterday. Did I? Y'all saw me text you. I said, "Yo,
We were having conversations
Y'all gonna lose.
a couple weeks ago about Tua being up for MVP, and if he's not performing against a top defense, why is that not more harsh criticism right now?
No,
Are we
the
going to
thing
sit up
is,
here?
though,
Are we
the
going to
thing
sit up
is, though,
here?
he definitely is or was in the MVP conversation.
Oh yeah.
That's
But-
without a doubt.
But again, we were basing that off of what his 3 touchdowns versus the Lions, the Bears, and the Browns.
He still threw two tutties yesterday.
He did
And 2
ball out against
interceptions.
the,
And 2
the
interceptions.
Ravens.
So
Hold
those
on.
kinda
One of his interceptions wasn't his fault.
doesn't matter. That's a quarterback stuff.
But it's not his fault. We got to put context in it.
I can understand that. He
We
still
gotta
finished
put
with a
so you take
79 quarterback rating. You take away those 3 games in which he threw 3 touchdowns versus ridiculously bad teams. And what has he done other than play consistent and win when he's supposed to win, which is what I've been saying with the weapons that he has and the team that he has. Again, I'm not taking anything from
So
him.
yesterday's performance just took him out of the top 10.
I'm not going to
No.
say it took. It's not taking him out of the top 10, but
He's, in my
The
opinion, he's
point
still a
is-
top 5 quarterback this season.
if he's not performing against a higher caliber team, then what are we really congratulating him for?
I mean, a lot of people haven't
Yeah.
performed really well versus that team.
And that he's correct about that as well. That's true.
Outside of Patrick Mahomes, that's the only.
Outside of Pat Mahomes, him and Tua are the only 2 quarterbacks to have, I believe, is 275 and 2 touchdowns against them, something along those lines. So I mean, I get the point, but the thing about it is, it's like what you just said. The context matters as well. He yesterday he could have easily had 400 yards passing easily. He missed throws that were open the entire game. And regardless, right or wrong, fair or unfair, Teron Armstead wasn't there. I get it. I'm not taking that from him. I know Nick Bosa is a great, fantastic player. But at the end of the day, a lot of his throws came down to him simply not making a throw. And he didn't. And that is where my concern came in, because maybe it is because he knew who he was up against. But even if that is the case, that's even more concerning, because these are the caliber teams you're going to play come postseason. You're not going to see, it's like what Mel just said, you're not going to see the Lions in Chicago come January. Those aren't the opponents. Yeah, you could beat up on the bad teams and look great against them. That's fine. You can only play your schedule. I'm not taking that from him. But at the end of the day, you want to see him perform well against these other high echelon teams to get reassurance as him as a player. Now, again, do I have faith in Tua? Absolutely. I think he can be great. Matter of fact, before this game, I thought he was easily a top 3 quarterback performing this season. The numbers, the film, everything supported that. But when it came down to it, when he had the measuring stick, he underperformed. It happens. It is what it is. Tom Brady had bad games. Aaron Rodgers has bad games. It happens. Now, what do you do next week? That's what I'm concerned about now.
Yeah, they play the Chargers next week, so I think he should be fine. I think the real measuring stick is going to when they play it on the 17th when the Dolphins play the Bills. I think that's going to be the true measuring stick for what's going to happen. But we should talk about the 49ers as well, because I think I said last week, I think that this team is really scary. And Jimmy Garoppolo is injured now. So do we think they can still make a run in the playoffs with these injuries? I don't think Trey Lance is coming back.
Trey Lance is out for the year.
Now he out for the season.
Yeah, so can Brock Purdy
Brock Purdy.
It's so funny how
Brock
that worked out.
motherfucking Purdy.
That's so funny how that worked out. Can that work, or should the 49ers go ahead and get Baker, who got released today by the Panthers?
I do believe, knowing Kyle Shanahan, he probably will let Brock Purdy rock out probably for another game and see what happens. Because who did he have a couple years ago when Jimmy went down? Some random dude, like a third string. Him, and then there was somebody even more recent. But
I know you're talking about. I can't.
Yeah, I can't think of his name. But he played like 2 or 3 weeks for Kyle Shanahan. So I can see him rocking out with Brock Purdy. But I can also see him, why not pick up Baker? Because you need another option. And you can get him really cheap because he just got cut for his rest of the salary he had. So you can get it for real cheap. I don't see what the harm in doing that is if he did that route. But I think you will see Brock Purdy play at least one, maybe two more games starting, unless he has like a terrible, terrible game next week.
Right, I completely agree with that. I think their best course of action is to go get Baker, and not to necessarily make him a starter, but just because, like what you said, you need another body on the field. I mean, I know they went and got Josh Johnson, but Josh Johnson is a career backup. He's never played significant snaps ever. This is a team that still expects and wants to compete for a championship. So they're not going to depend on Josh Johnson being their second quarterback. They're going to go get Baker Mayfield because at the very least, regardless of how Baker has performed in recent memory, this is a guy that led a playoff winning team. This guy that's been to the playoffs. He has somewhat experience in terms of some kind of postseason success. So you want that on your roster if you can't have it. Now, I see some other people as well saying that they believe they might even make a move for Jameis Winston. I'm not sure how true that is, but we'll see.
He has to get released first in order to make a move for Jameis. And they're like, I don't even know why they're not playing Jameis.
Yeah, I have no idea either.
Really baffles.
I mean, if they can figure out if Jameis could say release me, and they'd be talking behind the scenes. They're like, yo, tell them boys to release you.
But they'll be like, I'll release you, but I don't want to pay you all that money that contractor just gave you for that year.
Yeah, but I don't think James got any guarantees or anything. So probably just get cut and get cut.
Yeah, I can see that.
Smooth. What do you think? Should they rock with Brock?
Like that.
I like that. No, I mean, regardless, I don't think the 49ers are going to do too much because of the fact that Jimmy got hurt, whether it's Baker at quarterback, Brock at quarterback. I think Jimmy is the X factor, which is crazy because, you don't really call a quarterback the X factor, but Jimmy is kind of the X factor for that team, in my opinion. Picking up Baker would be a security move.
Jimmy is an X factor?
Yeah, Jimmy's not. Jimmy plays well when he needs to play.
I think he's just a serviceable guy. I wouldn't call him X factor. I think the X factor.
Yeah, that's what the X factor is. X factor.
I want to say that because, like, even with Trey Lance, like, they look better with Jimmy than they do when Trey Lance was playing from the little small sample size we got. So,
like, when I say X factor, I consider X factor like someone that you aren't. You know what I'm saying? They're not the main.
Unsung hero.
They're like, the unsung hero, basically. And I think that's what Jimmy G has been for the 49ers for a while. Again, picking up Baker wouldn't be a bad move just in case Brock Purdy doesn't, pan out. But I think you do give him an opportunity because he did come in and play well. But however, Baker Mayfield, he isn't. I think Baker Mayfield's washed. Jameis would be the better option if that is an option. But all in all, I don't think with this injury as far as Jimmy goes, that it kind of like puts a dent in the 49ers doing anything in the playoffs, because you still got the Commanders coming up, who they play the Commanders, and that's going to be a big game for them. Commanders have a pretty solid defense. You got Chase Young coming back on the defensive line, and pass rush and the run defense going to be crazy. And a player like that, seeing that for the first time in one of his first games, you don't really know how he's going to react. So I think moving forward, signing Baker would be a security move. But just all in all, the 49ers, I just don't see the 49ers doing too much.
I still think they got a chance with Brock, man. I mean, he was a confident quarterback in college. He played a little bit well yesterday. He played well yesterday. So I think Kyle Shanahan can scheme up to, help protect him. That's one thing. That's why I think like a young quarterback going to Kyle Shanahan like is really good, because he's going to scheme more ways up to protect you, not make you have to throw the ball as much. I mean, if he has to, he has to, but he's going to scheme something up. Their threat of play action can definitely slow down a lot of defenses pass rushing. So the way they can run the ball and they can go play action on first down in the same, they make everything look the same, no matter what lineup they're in. So you don't know if they're running the ball or passing the ball. This is great coaching. Again, they have a great O-line as well. They have the best trenches with the O-line and D-line combination. Like that team has the best. So that's why I always think they can always be great. But yeah, I think, and I was gonna ask you guys, I think San Fran without Jimmy is still like the biggest competition, in my opinion, for the Eagles. Like I know a lot of people are probably saying it's the Cowboys.
I agree with that.
I think, to me, even with how good the Eagles are, I gotta see how. When it was with Jimmy G, I was gonna say no matter how good the Eagles are, I still think San Fran is a team that could beat them, and I probably had San Fran being the favorite coming out. Let me see what Brock does for the rest of this time before the playoffs. Before I made that prediction again about them coming out and representing the NFC. But for now, I do think they're the biggest threat to the Eagles in general.
Not the Commanders.
I mean, me personally, if I had to choose the biggest threat to the Eagles, man, as much as it pains me to say, because I got a lot of family members that's Cowboys fans, but it got to be the Cowboys, man. I mean, the things they are doing on both sides of the ball right now, they're just playing. That team is just playing with so much confidence right now, man. Like, and the thing about it is, Mike McCarthy as a coach, I think he's just downright terrible. And I have no idea what's going on. But right now, the Cowboys are executing on all cylinders. I mean, this is the thing with the Cowboys. And this is what I think a lot of people aren't really paying attention to with them, is that they're no longer asking Dak Prescott to play hero ball. They're running the ball with Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott a lot more than they've done the past year, 2 years now. And being the fact that they're starting to become this rush first team again, and on top of the fact that Dak Prescott may not be the Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen kind of contract player he signed to be, but he's not going to lose you games more than likely. He's going to keep you in games. He's going to make the right reads, the right throws. So you can depend on that at the quarterback position. And then on top of that, you arguably have the best defensive player in the league right now in Micah Parsons. Your defense is a top 5 unit. Trayvon Diggs has drastically improved his game as a corner. And now all of a sudden, this is a team all across the board that has talent and they're competent on all cylinders across the ball. So if I had to pick the most biggest threat to the Eagles, because I still personally believe the Eagles are the best team in the NFC, but if I had to pick the biggest threat to them, it's within their own division. I think it's the Cowboys.
See, you mentioned Mike McCarthy, and that's why I don't trust the Cowboys.
You should trust them.
I don't trust the Cowboys. I trust them to mess up.
They got Kellen Moore as their offensive coordinator.
But then
Mike McCarthy, though? Is it Mike McCarthy or Dak who you don't trust?
It's Kellen Moore that you should trust.
It's a combination of both, because I feel like when the pressure gets tough, they're still going to slide. Like they just lost, that was 2 games ago, where they got embarrassed.
Yeah, Dak
to the Packers.
Terrible.
And they could have ran the ball instead, but they always find a way when it comes to the big games. So, so I got to see. Now, this all changes if OBJ gets on that team. Now, if OBJ gets on that team, then my whole take changes. I think that's the biggest threat.
That man on college visits, like Dwayne said the other day in the chat. He on college visits.
My dog in the portal.
I told you, my underdog teams are the Dolphins and the Cowboys for the championship, which is crazy.
It's going to be
happening.
It's going to be insane.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Speaking of the portal, let's go ahead and talk about Deion. So Deion left Jackson State. He officially accepted the position as the head coach of Colorado. So I just want everyone's thoughts on, Deion taking the position. A lot of people are mad, especially, people of color. Felt like he really betrayed HBCUs. He talked to the players, and it was pretty funny. He told them, he's like, some positions already taken.
He said, I got some luggage with me, and it's Louis.
He said, I'm gonna talk to the staff. If you hurt and you're not worth it, darn, hug you, kiss you, tell you goodbye. Right. And then he said, basically, some people should start looking at the portal. So what are our thoughts on, Deion's press conference, Deion leaving Jackson State? Tavares, I'll let you start it off.
All right, man. So first and foremost, my initial thoughts on this was that, truth be told, I feel like Deion was a sellout, man. I mean, I rightfully so, wrong or right, I should say. To me, he sold dreams to families and their kids, telling them that I can take your son. Perfect example of this for me is Travis Hunter. Told his mom, I can turn your son into a man, and he going to eventually become one of the best, if not the best corner in the nation at this level, regardless of what school he goes to. And then you seeing students or high school students, graduates, start to decommit from Jackson State the moment he announced he was leaving. But then I started to see social media, and then I started to realize that no one truly supported Deion for what he was doing at JSU. I mean, the fans was booing him, telling him he could leave, never come back. People insinuating that this dude shouldn't have bettered his life because, I mean, I don't know who truly believed he was going to stay there and coach forever, but that's just a fantasy pipe dream people had if they thought that was what really was going to happen. The man was going to leave eventually. Me personally, I just didn't like the fashion he left in. And that's my only gripe against the whole situation. Because you have kids who are here who came to play at this school specifically because of you. They didn't go there to go play for JSU. They came because Deion Sanders was the coach. Now, everyone's saying Travis Hunter, his son who plays quarterback, more than likely, transfer things of that nature, which I'm not going to deny. More than likely, it is going to happen.
Well, they going already.
Oh,
yeah,
even so, it's still at the end of the day, I just felt as if you're going to do something like that, that's a business move and best in your interest, just make it that. Don't make it anything else. And that's where I had to disconnect that. But is he wrong? I don't believe he's wrong necessarily. And from a morally standpoint, I mean, you could argue that, but business, career-wise, he did the right thing.
So, yeah, no, I think that's what it's always going to be about, the business aspect. Ain't nobody going to pass up a check. However, I do think it is kind of, I want to say hypocritical because that's kind of derogatory, but Deion was really emphasizing, playing at HBCUs, when he first went there. And like you just said, a lot of those players went there just to play with Deion Sanders, because he was the coach. Who knows, any of those players could have went and got, offers from a powerhouse school, but they follow him and they follow the wave, to try to build a program from the ground up. They had a good season. They were successful. I know in one of his interviews, he was even talking about how, he brought up the idea of playing Alabama if he was able to get some top recruits to his school, in a few years. So that kind of gave the impression that, he was willing to kind of make a environment for kids to come there and, be considered a top program in the nation. But of course, when money's involved, that changes I'm not going to say what you stand for. I'm not going to call him a sellout because if any one of us was in that position, we probably do the same thing. But just based off of what he was preaching to begin with, I just think it's kind of backwards for him to leave in the fashion that he did. I mean, and I know a lot of those kids will go follow him. I know his son's going to follow him. A lot of those kids that he recruited probably going to follow him. But what happens to those kids who didn't have scholarships to go play at JSU, who wanted to, just come and be a part of the program and try to make a name for themselves? They're not going to have that same opportunity to go and, play for that D1 school. So he kind of just, left them stranded. So, I mean, it's a business. So, I mean, you really can't, blame him for that. But
so I got a couple of things for you, Dio, and everybody. I'm not going to say it was morally wrong because there's been things coming out for the past year that he wanted to get his staff better salary. And the HBCU could not provide what he was asking for this past year. So that's why he was searching elsewhere to provide more money to his staff. Granted, he's getting $5 million versus $500,000 he was getting at JSU. That's the big business part. But this big move, granted, it was career-wise, but he was also looking out for the people that he's been with since 16, 20 years plus.
How long has he been a coach there at JSU?
No, I know, but these people he's been up with, raising up.
No,
he's
asking.
Been there for 3 years, 3 years.
He was there for 3 years, but
right.
it's the same exact, majority of that staff is most of the people that
He's been
remember he was at the high school coaching for like 8 years.
Right. Yeah.
Had his sons come up. So yeah.
So he didn't leave the JSU kids that are still going to be there stranded. He basically told the AD they're leaving one coach or a couple coaches behind. He recommended,
it's not Deion, though, bro.
I know, but he recommended him as the next head coach to keep that same philosophy, that same structure they've been used to for 3 years for the kids that do stay there. It's not like he's not making any effort.
I hear you, but you really think those kids came because of him? Or because
I get that.
And like to that point, bro, like the like he's Deion Sanders, bro. And
he don't need money. He
don't.
Said that.
That's what I'm saying. Like he could have, I think he could have invested in that program himself. You know what I'm saying? If he was really all for what he was talking about as far as, staying in HBCUs and building a program from the ground up, which is what he was doing. They was undefeated this past year. Why wouldn't he stay with that program and invest his own money back into it? What draws attention is winning, which is what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? Who's to say in a few years they wouldn't have gotten that opportunity to, you know what I'm saying, maybe change conferences or, you know what I'm saying, get some big names to that school. So,
but he has forever put his print on that school. They will forever get people for what he did and has done. They will be a top team in that conference for years. I'm telling you, just because of what he has done there. I promise you.
So I'm gonna say before you actually tomorrow's go because I'm gonna go long. So I'll let you go.
All right, it's fine. I'm gonna say this, man. I agree that he has left his imprint on the school. There's no denying that. And another thing he did do, he gave the rest of his salary back to the program itself. So that is something that a lot of things that came out after, he resigned, not resigned per se, but he took the opportunity. But I will say this, man. I mean, at the end of the day, I understand he did what he could, but the whole thing where I feel like me and Smooth coming from is that at the end of the day, man, let's call a spade a spade. Those kids came there for him. They didn't go there for JSU.
Granted, 100%.
So I just feel as if at the end of the day, man, the school wasn't going in a better direction. The prices, the costs, everything in terms of winning, losing, it all was pointing in the right direction. It just, the timing of everything is what bothers a lot of people. And that's where the disconnect comes in. It's like you're leaving this school once you've gotten it to a point where it can actually start really making noise and actually gaining attention from the nation itself, from the media.
Right, exactly.
And that's where a lot of people are just disheartened and hurt from. Now, again, at the end of the day, it's business. I get it. I'm not going to ever fault him for doing what he feels as if is best for him and his family. That's fine. But let's not act as if this is a man who stood by what he said he was going to do. He didn't. That's what it comes down to for me. Now, again, I'm not going to say he's right or wrong, because at the end of the day, like my man just said, 9 out of 10 times, everybody makes the same decision. It is what it is. But in the same breath, at the same time, I just feel as if me personally, I'm not going to say something and then do something else. That's just not who I am.
So I want to know, what did he do that you think he didn't? What did he say that he was going to do that he didn't do? Me personally, I think it comes down for him. It's like what Smooth said earlier. He put back on his, for example, with him recruiting Travis Hunter, this is something that we've never seen before. A top recruit in this nation commit to exactly. Excuse me. He literally went to a small school that no one had on his radar. No one thought or ever would have guessed he went to. He strictly went for Deion Sanders. And then through that process and through those events, Deion painted this picture and depicted HBCUs as something that needed to be saved, and he's going to be the savior. Now, right or wrong, whether that was his intentions or not, that's what happened. And that's what it was. Because let's not forget, a few months ago, we were all saying this will forever change the way HBCUs are looked at now. That's no longer the case. And I believe that's what people had their fallout with Deion at. Now, some people, again, they are taking it a bit overboard. I will admit that. But when you're looking at it just from the grand scheme of things and what was not promised per se, but what was said, yeah, it does make it seem as if Deion really said to himself, I'm going to do what's best for me and only
me and mine. And that's what it was. Now, again, that's on him. It is what it is, right or wrong. He did the best decision that was for his business, his family. I'm no one to tell him that. I just feel as if it's a bit disingenuous on his part to promise these things and not to see them through. To me, that's what it is.
All right. I think Deion did absolutely nothing wrong in this situation. The only issue I have with this whole thing is I just wish he would have saw an entire class through. That's the only issue I have. But with this portal, like we said, all the kids that went there that could have went to big schools are going to go to Colorado with him.
Yes.
Everybody else that went weren't people that were going to go to big schools, right? The best Deion could have done for Jackson State, in all reality, was make them what North Dakota State is. Nobody watching the North Dakota State games. They've been the number one team in FCS for like the past years. Like the last time we saw like these games on really national TV, I think like the last time I can really remember something like that, I think it was like when Joe Flacco was Joe Flacco playing at Delaware?
Yeah, he played Delaware. Yep.
Yeah, like that's like a few times. Like even when Carson Wentz was playing, like we saw one or two of his games.
Trey Lance, yeah.
Yeah, like I ain't even really seen.
I saw a couple Trey Lance games.
Like that, he barely gets some time, right? He got college game day to come there. He built a momentum. He did change the thoughts about HBCUs, and now people need to ride off that momentum. He wasn't swag, but he was correct. He wasn't swag, right? But I just think at the end of the day, like he had to look out for one. He was donating like half of his salary back into the program at the facility. Now, what if he go to now he getting this? What is it? $5 million a year he getting, or like
he getting $5 million?
Yeah,
$5 million a year. What if he sent $1 million back to Jackson State every year to help build those facilities out? Because now he was asking boosters, he was asking alumni, like, yo, can y'all help me out? Can y'all help me out? Can y'all help me out? In order to get this program where I need to get it, I need help. And only certain people was helping. He wasn't getting enough help. And now he at Colorado, all them boosters helping him out. Also, he's limited. Those schools don't get the same amount of scholarship opportunities like these Power 5 schools. At the end of the day, like, he went to HBCUs. He went there, did what he's supposed to do. He went there, dominated in the short time that he was there.
Put him on the map. Yeah.
Put him on the map. Now it's time for them to ride the momentum. Those guys that will remain there are guys that probably, some of them probably wouldn't even been at Jackson State if it wasn't for Deion. You guys are correct. And sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing. Like, people don't know, like, early in the year, like, Jackson State, them boys was having trouble having water. He had to put all his kids in hotels for them to have running water. Like, it wasn't rainbows and butterflies over there. He was in the trenches over there.
No, right? You're absolutely right. You're right.
Yeah, but at the same time, that's what I'm saying. I think that's why it's so significant and important, because again, like North Dakota State, that's North Dakota State. That's not an HBCU. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're talking about the fact that he went to an HBCU, made noise at an HBCU, and then just kind of like shifted gears, like, and didn't see it through. Like we're saying, like, who's to say that if he would have stayed 3, 4, 5 more years, bro, he wouldn't have been getting those top recruits year after year after year, winning games, you know what I'm saying, and getting that funding in order for them to become a team. Oh, well, maybe we should add this team in the ACC. Maybe we should add this team in the.
They don't got the amount of students, so it wouldn't work out. Like, the way those Power 5 schools, you have to have like a certain amount of like student base in order to even be considered like in there. Because like North Dakota State been winning that damn shit for like past 10, 12 years, and they never been considered. So like, you actually have to be one of those, like, the big school. Like, to me, there was really nothing more for him to obviously want to win probably win like a championship versus like one of those schools. That would have been a good thing. But I just think Deion's whole thing was about getting in and making like coaches in this. Like, now he's about to hire minority coaches. Like, we about to see possibly like an all-black staff in a Power 5 school.
Colorado,
you don't see this.
Colorado.
It don't matter. It's a Power 5 school.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but it just
and now the best way to change everything. Like, yeah, we want him to change the HBCUs. Now, if Deion can find a way to change Power 5 schools and how they see African American coaches, that's even a bigger thing for his legacy. You know what I'm saying? And what he's doing. So, that's why I can't blame him, as well as like, as much as like At the day, he trying to get his son, the coach, the quarterback to that.
He trying to give him the NFL. Yep.
He got to go play against the biggest of competition for them to really take him serious. Even no matter how good Travis Hunter was killing there, he got to take him to the big dogs. Now, Travis Hunter go play against Caleb Williams next year and ball out and go crazy.
USC and UCLA will be moving soon to the Big Ten.
Well, see. So now I don't know who going to be the Pac-12. Oregon
is really going to be Oregon.
They ball out versus Oregon. Then you know what I'm saying, and then Deion there, he get there a couple 3 years. Next thing you know, Colorado might be going to one of these big conferences, and now they changing modes and changing things up. So I understand what you guys are saying, but in order for Deion to do what he really wanted to do, which was change the mode of college football in general, he had to go to a Power 5 school.
I don't disagree. I
just think the timing was just unfortunate.
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to, man. It's the timing of everything. Man.
I do agree with y'all because their season's still not over. They still got like a bowl game. They got to play. So like
something happened though this year with I'm telling you with the pay. He probably was sick and tired of it. I'm telling you.
I mean, yeah, you're right. He was trying to get the coach to pay more. He was like, they can't live their lives off of this. So like, you know.
Yeah, there's probably some disconnect there for sure. But at the end of the day, we don't know. We may never know. It may come out one day. But as it stands here and now, the timing was horrible on his part.
How y'all feel about him telling the players like, yo, I'm bringing people here and, you know, like some of y'all might have to look at that portal.
So, that's the hard truth, bro. That's reality. Like, if people come in, if you want to, he basically said, if you don't want to compete, leave.
That's on every level.
That's basically what he said.
Yeah.
It don't matter. That's on every level, every team.
Exactly.
Like, best man going to play. Even in the NFL, best man going to play.
The backup quarterback already hit the transfer portal.
I mean, that's the court. Like, y'all, we know when we went.
That the quarterback situation, that's a given. Like, if
but I want y'all to see. I mean, Wayne, I don't know if you guys looked at this. You should not feel bad for what he said because you look up the team stats, atrocious across the board. They had 5 quarterbacks play this year.
Oh, I don't feel bad about what he said. We, in all disclosure.
I don't feel bad. I mean, at the end of the day, he's there to coach his team. He's going to bring in the guys to fit his system. That's how any organization program works, regardless of what level it is. It could be literally the coaches come in with 2-3 kids that they know are good. It's just what it is. So I don't feel any way about that.
I'm gonna say Smooth, Chubbs, that happened to us in college.
I know, but bro, it's just
our coach got fired. They brought a new coach in, and he said, "I'm bringing guys to replace y'all."
But Wayne,
the hard truth
got replaced?
Nobody get replaced.
Everybody
on offense got replaced, but
every
dogs
college
on
team
defense ain't get replaced.
Every college team at least has one dog that either is close to 1,000 yards receiving or running the ball. Their receivers' most yards was 400. Their running backs' most yards was 380. Like,
damn, they was real bad. God,
damn. Right. They were bad.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So if you could turn that program around, it's gonna be hard. I don't think they're gonna be a powerhouse just because, like, I was looking at that out of conference schedule games. They have to win before they even get considered for the college football playoffs. They're gonna have to win that conference twice in order to make something happen. Like, his son won't see a championship opportunity.
You might see a nice bowl game though.
Yeah, they're gonna see a nice bowl game because, like, even if they go out and win the Pac-12, them like the Pac-12 week, the out of conference schedule.
The Pac-12 gets an automatic bid to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, so they're playing the Rose Bowl. So we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the next topic, man. So weeks ago, Tavares, after the Patriots beat the who they beat? Chelsea? Was it the Bills they beat?
No, we lost to the Vikings, bro.
No.
We beat the Jets. We beat the Jets.
They beat the
Jets. Zach Wilson got benched.
Yeah. So after that win, Smooth came in as a Patriots fan, and he told Joey, who's a Dolphins fan, that the Dolphins bet not lose. And since that has happened, the Patriots bet not have win because they haven't won a single game. So I just want to talk to Smooth, man. You guys are still technically in the hunt. How confident do you feel in your guys' ability? Hey, you see that team? Hey, lift it up. You see that team?
At the very bottom. At the very bottom.
I mean, as far as my confidence goes, I'm still I'm still, I guess you would say, on the fence. Because I did have Minnesota beating us. Although we should have won that game, we was a special teams play away. It's crazy because the special teams won us the game one week. The following week, the special teams lose us the game. We should have won that game. However, I expected a loss. I also expect to split with the Bills, and I expect to beat the Dolphins. Moving forward, I think we have the chance to win out because, mainly because of our defense. Our defense is on the field way too long. Specifically, this past week when we played the Bills, we could not get off the field at all. A lot of teams. I mean, I know last year we was kind of like praising Mac Jones, or whoever was praising Mac Jones because he was able to beat the Bills with only throwing 3 passes this week. This past
That's
week,
not why he was getting praised. Stop being nasty.
that is why we was getting praised. Why he was getting
that
praised.
game was not why he
was
got
managing
praised.
the game. Mac Jones was managing the game with the run game. He was keeping us in the game. This week we passed a lot more, and Mac Jones just wasn't making plays. Granted, we don't have good receivers. Granted, we don't have a playmaker on offense. Granted, our run game is the heart of our offense. However, that Bills rushing defense, that top rushing defense, I mean, they kind of, force Mac Jones to throw the ball, and expose us for what we don't have. I don't think it's Matt Patricia, more so than it's Mac Jones. I just don't think Mac Jones is a good quarterback to play with what he has. And when your defense is on the field for 70% of the snaps, or 70%, 70% of all the snaps played, it makes it hard, especially against the Bills. Josh Allen didn't have a spectacular, phenomenal game, but
He played okay.
Yeah, he played decent. But at the same time,
he didn't turn the ball over. He did what he was supposed to do. Yeah.
At the same time, our defense didn't play great, but it also didn't play terrible. I think in order for us to have been able to beat the Bills, we need to put points on the board, and we're not going to win games like how we've been winning in the past, with only scoring 1 touchdown, kicking 6-7 field goals a game to win. We're not going to beat the Bills that way. And we're definitely not going to beat the Dolphins that way. We're definitely not going to beat the Bills again, who we play that way. So I think we still have the chance, because when your head coach is the greatest coach of all time, he always keeps us in the conversation to have an opportunity. But again,
it Bill or was it Brady? Just joking.
With the Dolphins losing, it helps us. With the Chargers losing, that helps us. I did not expect the Bengals to win, which kind of blew off my, prediction, because I needed them to lose in order for us to, in order for me to have the confidence for us to be a secure spot in the playoffs. But with 6-6, being 2-2 in our division, and still having one more division game against both the Dolphins and the Bills, I think we still have an opportunity to finish with a decent record to at least get, the first or the last wild card spot. But we definitely have to win out. If we don't win out, then it's over. 100% over. Matt Jones has to play better.
I'm not going to write you guys off, because as long as your defense is playing well enough to keep you guys in games, there are times Mac Jones, couldn't make the right throw. You've seen him do it in the past. But this all depends on one thing you said. If your running game is going, that is your bread and butter. But I wouldn't count you guys out. But you need a lot of things to happen. You need a lot of things to happen.
First things first, we need to
start. I'm writing you guys off. I'm writing you guys off right now. Okay.
Like you need a lot of things to happen. Like you saw the graphic you showed. There's a lot of 8-4, a lot of 75s. There's some better 6-6s than you.
The AFC as a whole is just
a gauntlet.
It's a
gauntlet.
Game.
The Jets got a pretty tough schedule ahead too, and they're the last team right now in the wild card spot. So we could get that game, because we beat them twice. We will have the tiebreaker.
Hey, they by the split tendencies. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Tendency games.
Well, they already beat the Jets.
Yeah,
they already beat the Dolphins. So
they played
the Dolphins this time.
Oh, they played the Bills.
Yeah.
The Lions could be a tough game for them. They got the Jags. That should be an easy game. They play Seahawks and they play the Dolphins.
If they play the Vikings at New York, they're gonna beat them.
They played the Vikings already. They
just lost to them.
Yeah, the Vikings won that game.
And let's talk about it. Let's talk about the Jets and the Vikings as well. So the Jets lost that game, right? So a lot of people are saying, all right, let's go back to Zach Wilson. Mike White still had a chance to win that game, and Braxton Berrios dropped the game-winning touchdown. So I'm still a believer in Mike White. I still think you should start him over Zach Wilson at this point, because even though he was playing bad in the first half, he did come back in the second half and played a really good second half. I'll say he even threw the interception at the end of the game, trying to win the game, obviously. But do we see the Jets holding your fort down and getting into the playoffs still with the remaining schedule? And I can give you the remaining schedule. They got the Bills next, then they play the Lions, then they play the Jags, the Seahawks, and then the Dolphins. Do we think they can make it into the playoffs?
I mean, truth be told, man, I mean, the remaining schedule you just named, they're playing teams that you got Geno Smith coming up at quarterback, you got Tua, you got Jared Goff, you got Josh Allen. Who was the last team?
The Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence.
You got Trevor Lawrence. I mean, truth be told, they're playing some of the better offenses in the league. And the thing about the Jets is they have a good defense. I'm just not a believer in any quarterback on their roster. I just can't believe in Mike White or Zach Wilson. Now, Mike White is the better of the two evils. He is that. But at the end of the day, I mean, you got to put points up in this league now, man. It's not happening if they can't put points up. And the whole reason why the Vikings game was even closer than what it was because the defense was playing lights out. Now, Mike White made some throws in the game that were tremendous throws, and he did hit Garrett Wilson over the middle where he broke for like a 45-yard receiving pass or something like that. So they have the abilities and players to make the games interesting. But coming down the end of the stretch games like he did last week, do I believe he can make the game-winning throw, a drive to win a game? I'm not there yet with him, man. Now, again, I believe in him more than Zach Wilson, but nah, I can't see him going down to Miami doing that to us. I can't see him going to Seattle, doing that to Seattle. I can't see it to Buffalo. So it's for me, man, I don't see it happening because at the end of the day, this is a quarterback-driven league now. And how tightrope the AFC is right now, they can't afford to lose 3 games. They got 3 games on their schedule. I don't think they can win. So
which
I
ones
don't think they can do it.
The Bills, Seahawks, and Dolphins?
Yes, I think they lose.
They might lose to the Lions, bro. They might go 1-4, bro.
I think the Lions. I think they're going to lose to the Lions as well.
Oh, well, that's 4 losses to me. Then, if y'all say that, I don't think they could beat the Dolphins as it stands right now. Because as much as I rag on Tua, I think Tua is still, again, I think he's been the top 5 quarterback this season. I don't think that's without question. He still has, I believe it's 21 to 5 interceptions.
Yeah.
This dude is still playing lights out. Like he's been balling when he's given opportunity. So he go to Miami. We've been well at home. I don't think he wins that game. I don't think Mike White can go up to Seattle and compete against them. I don't think he can beat the Bills. The Bills, even with Von Miller and Micah Hyde and these dudes.
Matt White's got one more loss before he's back off the starting lineup.
Right. I agree. He do. But the one thing I know for certain, their quarterback of the future is not on their roster right now. It's not.
I agree wholeheartedly with that. I don't think they're.
What you mean Joe Flacco's on their roster, man?
Yeah, I don't think so either, man. But we did have somebody return this week. So the Deshaun Watson suspension was over, and they did go to the Texans. He didn't play the best versus the Texans.
No, he played terrible.
Nah, he played pretty damn bad.
He played bad. He had a bad game versus Texans.
It's been 2 years, man. I'll cut him some slack. It's been 2 years.
So
we called this.
Yeah, we said it. I said first game out because obviously I think that
No. You said he was going to kill the Texans. Yes, he did.
You're right. I did say they was going to kill. I did say he was going to kill the Texans. But something told me, like, once I heard everything that was going on throughout the week, I was like, damn, I was kind of mad I made that prediction. Because
he had a lot going on mentally, man.
Mentally, that wasn't a lot. If it wasn't I think if the first game wasn't the Texans, he would have played a lot better. But because it was he was back in Texas, the accusers went out, they were there. The media was asking him all the questions as well all week. So I think he will have a bounce back week for sure. But like we said, it's been 2 years. And obviously this team is not nowhere near playoff contention. So I think he just needs to use the rest of these games to just,
Yeah.
I thought that was they had an accuser section there.
They had like 10 women come.
I thought that was a joke.
No, they can't.
That is crazy.
That's
really
wild.
That is crazy.
Sorry for cutting you off. That was wild.
Yeah.
And me and Jazz was talking about that. It was just like, bro, like, and I know we had discussions, and I'm not trying to sit up here and minimize what he did, the accusations, minimize all who's involved. But it's just like, it's wild that, you can be put through something like that and still want to be you know what I'm saying? Like, my question is, like, what is the motivation behind going to a football game?
Well, according to them, they said they didn't want to be forgotten. That's what they said.
But wouldn't you not want to be in the same area / place of your offender? Like, you know what I mean?
I get what you said, but look, if I'm being completely honest with y'all, man.
If he offended you, then that's a big thing.
And that's the question. That's the question that I wasn't about to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it more of a, again, I'm not trying to sit up here and minimize it because we don't know what happened.
Exactly.
Now I said, Tavares, you dropped a video on TikTok about like.
Yeah, man. I mean, me, me. If y'all watch me, I know I'm just blunt about what I say. I tell what I feel, man. But me personally, man, I mean, like I said on the video on TikTok you're referring to, at the end of the day, man, to me, this whole situation, the way they painted abusers or people that have been abused by people, this isn't a good look, because at the end of the day, no woman nor person is going to want to be in a facility of someone who's abused them in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't make sense. So for them to do that and to go that route because they wanted people to know that they're still here, to me, it's like a friend told me. He said, this, I don't want to say it, but it has to be said. This seems like a shakedown that went bad. And it's starting to look that way because, simply put, during the case, I don't want to get open up a can of worms, but just to break it down just a tad bit, this never went to no Supreme Court or actual criminal cases. He never faced any criminal indictments of that nature. Every case that went to court in some shape or form, he beat the case. And then on top of that, it's been 2 years. No other evidence was further put out or pushed to that could get this man indicted or possibly lose his career. Now, again, like Smooth just said, I don't know the full truth. We may never know the full truth. But at the end of the day, we can only go off what we know and what we've seen. The man said he was going to prove his innocence. He said that he wasn't going to pay these women off to prove he did nothing. He didn't pay him off. He didn't lose any case. And we here now. He playing on Sunday again. So, I mean, that's the only thing I could go off.
What we did see is in that time frame, he had Mia Khalifa in a fucking in a apron.
I mean,
playing basketball.
He a freaky nigga. That's what
he is.
I mean, honestly,
look,
having
you could be a weirdo, man. We could agree you're a weirdo, but I can't say the man don't deserve his career. That's to me. That's when I can start to get lost.
It's funny that whenever I see
it's funny.
I mean, having that many masseuses is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Let's make it clear. I think. I'm not gonna say. I think I speak for everyone when we say we do not condone sexual abuse, sexual assault in any way.
Absolutely not.
However, it's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to these major athletes, how it's always not one, not two. You know what I'm saying? It's always like a domino effect when it comes to these athletes. So yeah, I mean, it's just kind of weird, especially the fact that they chose to, start like a fan club and go to his game. That's outrageous to me. Like,
yeah,
my mom.
Yeah, man. For sure, man. You know, let's see how Deshaun looks for the rest of the season. I think next year the Browns are going to make some true noise. But
they're going to be legit next year.
But
if
it's
he
kind
can
of
get back
crazy.
in form.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. They won a game without scoring an offensive touchdown. They scored like 27 points.
Kyle Allen.
They had that punt return. They had a return.
Tip pass.
Fumble, something like that. I was like,
crazy.
Everything just going right.
Every time I see the score going on, I'm like, oh, he scored. I'm like, damn, no, he didn't.
I said the same thing.
I was like, no, he didn't.
I thought Amari Cooper was about to snap. Like 12 points, bro. It was hot, bro.
I thought Deshaun was going to give me 25.
Yeah, bro. I started him too, bro. I was sitting in fantasy, bro. And then he threw that. The first highlight I saw, he threw that interception in the rest. I'm like, God. Yeah, bro. Like what you was looking at, bro. But yeah, his footwork is definitely off. Like if you saw the interception, like everything was off. So he just gotta get back into
what you looking at for?
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, again, you know, like we said, man, it's been 2 years, man. We'll see how.
Yeah, he wasn't able to practice either, so like he couldn't practice.
Yeah, that's what really killed him.
So
not being able to touch a football, that's crazy.
Be throwing passes to Jillian Nye, bro.
Yeah, that's what he's stupid, bro. Oh damn. Hey, let's get to the next AFC North team though. And my question for you guys is: it's been 3 times now that the Bengals have beat the Chiefs in this calendar year alone. Do the Bengals have the Chiefs number?
Yes, and I hate to say it. I don't understand why Kansas City, when the one time they have to play bad or lose, it has to be against them bum ass. I hate the Bengals. I don't think they're very good. I'm sorry. I've been saying it. I mean, I think they're overrated, even though they have offensive elite weapons at the receiving core. Their defense doesn't really impress me. I'm sorry, even though they just beat Patty Mahomes. I don't care, Wayne. You can shake your head all you want.
That might be the best part of the team. You talking about that?
I don't think they're that good.
They stripped the best tight end of all time.
I don't think they're that good, but it is impressive that they keep doing this to the Chiefs because the Chiefs are. I mean, we've been saying that they're the favorites out of the AFC, and if they keep continuing to beat them. Is it 3 in a row now?
Yep.
Yeah, 3 in a row just this year alone.
So I don't think. I think that's in Kansas City's head, and I don't think they want to see them if it comes playoffs, if they make it, which they should. Bengals should make it, but I don't see them making another push though. But we'll get into that if that happens.
Yeah, man, I agree. I think they got their number, and I'm gonna take a little step further, man. I think as it stands right now, man, I mean, it would have shocked me at all if the Bengals came out of the AFC again, man. It would have shocked me at all. This team, look, my man, not really high on their defense, but I think the defense is underrated, if I'm being honest with you.
Super underrated.
They got, to me, in my personal opinion, they got the best safety tandem in the league, man. I mean, Jesse Bates, Von Bell, I think those are 2 studs, all pro caliber players. I think Trey Hendrickson is a very underrated.
He's a beast.
Wrestler.
No, he's a beast.
I think like that dude doesn't get the credit he deserves. I think he's a monster.
And DJ Reader.
They got the worst.
DJ Reader. Yeah, DJ Reader was hurt for a little while. He came back playing healthy, but I love him as well from Houston. I think they got a good linebacker core. The only thing I had concerns with them was the corners. I thought Woozy and Eli Apple wouldn't be able to hold up. They've been playing okay. I want to say they've been spectacular by any means or any stretch of the imagination, but they're doing their job. They're playing decent. So, I mean, when you have Joe Burrow, you got Jamar Chase, Higgins, Mixon, Perine, you got all these weapons on that side of the ball, man. It's hard. Like, this is a passing league. Like, it's hard to stop that because you got 2 guys that could be number 1s on any given Sunday. You got Tyler Boyd, who, for my money, he's the best receiver you have in the league right now. And you put all that together, this is a team that's going to be a tough out, especially when they get the confidence flowing like it is right now. But
that O-line had time to gel.
So their defense is currently ranked 12th, which I get. That's not bad. That's pretty good.
Yeah, they just outside the top 10. So it's a solid unit. It's good enough, especially if they want to make another goal.
If you above average, because that's what they are. They're above average defense. They have an excellent offense, right? I said this when they were struggling. I was like, yo, don't write them off too early. I told y'all, do not write them off too early. It's early in the season. They're going to start clicking. They can come out of the AFC. Do they have KC's number? It's hard, like 3-0, it's hard for me to say no, right? But I don't think it is because, like, every time I feel like KC lost these games more than the Bengals win in these games. Like, I feel like, especially this game, I think if Travis Kelce doesn't fumble, he just goes down and doesn't fumble. The way they were going on that drive, I think they score again. At the least, they get a field goal. You know, it took Harrison Butler, who doesn't really miss field goals, a lot of field goals and missed a field goal. Granted, that 3rd and 11 pass was amazing, right? I think the biggest thing for the Chiefs and something that I feel like they should have been addressing for years is they don't have difference makers on the defensive end outside of Chris Jones, right? Frank Clark is not the Frank Clark they got when they first got him. Sorry, Carlos Dunlap is not doing it. George Karlaftis is not. You need to get somebody there. And the secondary, Nick Bolton is amazing, you know, in the run coverage, right? When it comes to run defense, he's there. But not. And then in the secondary, there's no difference maker in that secondary.
Justin Reed's not bad.
He's not bad. But
he's a tackler.
Solid.
He's a tackler.
He's solid.
And for him to go out there and talk all that shit, he wasn't. You can't talk crazy, you know, give them fuel to the fire before the game start. Like, no. To me, that's why I used to that when they got Justin Reed, I was like, that's a good pickup. And I wish they would have found a way to keep Tyrann and be like, yo, go play slot corner for us. And then to me, then they would have been like in a perfect position if they would have found a way to get that done. But they weren't able to get that done. And I think every time they go and try to add people to the offense, I think that offense doesn't matter who you put out there. As long as 15 is that quarterback, it's going to be confident. It's going to be a top 10 offense no matter what. And I just don't like that they keep using these picks not to get, you know, good people. Like, I feel like this year they're going to have to find a way to get a difference maker.
McDuffie's not bad. He just needs more experience.
No. He was playing good enough coverage on Jamar Chase. I was actually impressed with the defense he was playing.
Both their corners are rookies. So, I mean, they might have time. They may need some time.
They got Legarius.
Yeah, but like he the only one. He was second year. Like second year.
Yeah, him and McDuffie that's a promising duo.
Yeah, and then the other starting corners, the 7th round.
Your big thing is to get a pass rusher.
They 7th round. They had two.
That's what you
need. They got 2 corners who are rookies essentially that's still learning. And the Legarius Sneed, I think he's good, but I don't think he's someone you can
not a difference maker.
Ramsey or something like that. He's not a difference maker. You're right.
Wayne, correct me if I'm wrong, but since you're a Steelers fan, you're also a Kansas City Chiefs fan. You haven't had a real pass rusher since Tamba Ali, right? Is that his name?
Frank Clark was good.
I'm talking about a real.
I think the first year Frank Clark got there, he had like 12 plus sacks. Like, so that was good. But then obviously, you got Chris Jones, but you're doing, like, I agree. Since Tamba Ali, you had Justin Houston, Tom Ball.
You did have Justin Houston. I keep forgetting he played.
And that's crazy.
Played there for a while.
Yeah, they had good end rushers, and then their tier. Like, I hate when I see teams is never able to like fully put it together. Like, they always missing something, and I just feel like that the Chiefs need one more difference maker. Whether if it's you can get another one on defensive line, another one a linebacker, or someone in the secondary, but I think that's what's holding them back. And it really shows when you play a team with a great offensive team like the Bengals, who can do something that the Bills can't do, which is run the ball really good and throw the ball really good. Like, most of these teams are one-dimensional. Like, they're got an okay run game, but the Bengals have a great run game because of who they got at running back, P-Ron and Mixon. And then their pass game, you got 3 guys to me that could go on any team and be a receiver 1 or 2. I think Tyler Boyd could be a receiver 2 on any other team if he wasn't on the Bengals.
He would be.
So,
he'd be receiver 1 on my team.
He definitely would.
Doesn't that say much, Chris?
He definitely would.
I'm just saying.
I think Steven Sims could be a receiver.
Nah, relax.
He be receiver 1 on the Patriots. He definitely be receiver 1 on the Patriots.
So
100%.
Speaking of your team, it's rivalry week.
Yeah.
And Tavares, last week, me and Charles made a bet He told me that the Ravens were going to sweep my Steelers.
But I didn't expect the serious unfortunate events happen.
Yeah, and I'll say this: I'm going to spare you if Lamar doesn't play in any of the games.
Okay,
All right,
I appreciate that.
I'm gonna spare you if Lamar doesn't play any games because I didn't think with or without Lamar, y'all wasn't gonna do shit against us anyway. But without Lamar, I'll give you some, I'll be a good person.
Dude, I appreciate that. Hey, clap. Hey, where's the clap? Where's the soundboard? Yeah, I've got clap one up for you, man.
But we got a heated discussion earlier in the podcast group chat because I said I think Lamar should rest for the rest of the regular season because I don't think the Ravens in this stretch that they have left, I think they're going to go 1-4. I think the only team they're going to beat, I think it was, who you guys play? Who I said, the Panthers or somebody? I said that's the only team I think you guys
Falcons.
The Falcons, yeah. That's the only team I think you guys can actually beat in this stretch.
Played the Steelers twice. That's crazy.
Yeah. Your offense is on par.
He said we played the Steelers twice. That's crazy.
Your offense is on par with the Denver Broncos. I'm glad
you said something. Keep going.
So I think we are going to sweep you.
Okay.
I do think you're not. I think you're going to lose to the Browns. I think Deshaun will be good enough by then.
We already beat the Browns once, but with Patrick, who's been playing better than Deshaun. But okay,
it's 1 week.
We'll see.
Right. And then who else you guys play? The Bengals. I don't think you guys are beating the Bengals.
I think we'll beat the Bengals.
This Bengals
so Wayne. So I hate that we are talking poorly about the Broncos. Offensive wise, the Broncos, they're trash. But why are we shitting on the Broncos? They're a top 3 defense right now.
I saw you guys scored 3 points versus the Panthers.
They're a top 3 defense though right now. They've been having.
I saw you guys have 3 points.
Why are you cutting me off?
All right, I'm
now?
Sorry. I'm not talking about the Broncos. I'm talking about the last 3 weeks.
That's because our offensive coordinator needs to get fired. He's terrible. He really is terrible. His play select. Wayne, you shaking your head. We did a reverse option wide receiver pass in triple coverage when we were running the ball down the team's throat.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying he's good.
But
I also have Matt Canada.
That scoring is all because of Greg Roman. Steve Smith said it in 2014 when Greg Roman became the Baltimore Ravens offensive coordinator. In 2 to 3 years, you're going to see a lot of red zone inefficiency. That means not getting in the end zone when you get in the red zone. A lot of running the ball hard, less targets to receivers. He called all of this. Third down proficiency. He called all of this. He has a trend. Greg Roman. He does a very good job first, second year. Then he becomes very predictable the rest of the time out. And that's what's happening with the Ravens. Everybody knows what the hell is going on.
I would feel bad for you if I didn't have Matt Canada as my offensive coordinator.
Bro, I would switch. I would switch. But to my point, Lamar only has a mild knee sprain. Harbaugh is saying likely he misses 1 game. I hear you with he shouldn't rush back. But, and this is the only reason, I'm only going to agree with you on this one point with that. If that team starts to lose and he's able to play and they're in that situation where they need to get a couple games to make playoffs, he is going to play. He's not going to sit out like you're saying, just because his knee, you're telling him to sit out regardless.
Yeah, you're saying he might play, and I agree he might play. I think he is going to play. I just think it's the wrong decision.
Okay. Question for you both. What does, because I think this can go either way. Does Lamar need to play to guarantee a contract? And if he does play, what is there a significance in him playing because they need to win? Like, does he need to win in order for them to guarantee a contract?
No.
Or if he does not play, will he get that contract?
No, I don't think he needs to play because let's keep it real. Last year when he missed 7 games, I watched the team go 0-7 with what we will see what the future is with Tyler Huntley. Tyler Huntley came in, struggled. 10-9. We won 10-9. He struggled. I mean, he made some good passes, but the offense stood up. We only had 10 points.
Tavares, the reason I'm making this face is because last year, this guy told me
Look at him cutting me off.
Tyler Huntley was the best backup in the league.
For the Ravens? Yes,
And
100%.
no, stop it. Don't stop it. And said that he was worth a second to potential
Oh yeah, I remember that already.
late first round pick.
No, I didn't say late. No, I said second round pick is what I said. Stop
For him
guessing
to just
it.
go on and then say,
But
I watch us go 0-7 and struggle.
But Tavares.
I don't know how the best backup in the league goes 0-7 and struggle.
But Tavares, he had a back and forth game with Aaron Rodgers, did he not?
Yeah, I remember they lost that game.
He almost beat the LA Rams, who won the Super Bowl. He kept them in the game that game. All I'm saying is he was playing good football. He went 0-7 though. He went 0-7 though. My point is, Lamar got hurt when the team was the first seed.
Right.
Lamar just got hurt. Lamar got hurt just now when we're the first in the division. Like, we can't afford him missing too many games because when Lamar plays, it results in what?
So to answer your
that's my question. Like, do y'all plan on playing this man? I mean, paying this man. Do y'all plan on paying?
They should.
They better.
They have no choice.
You've seen the future. You've already seen what the future is if you don't.
And the thing about it is, I think I remember Shannon Sharp said this, man. He said yesterday's price isn't today's price.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They will have to guarantee. They might have to guarantee $300 million, man. I'm not gonna lie to y'all.
But that's the thing. Like that's
they
the
might.
Chris,
I wouldn't even be mad.
I'm just asking because, like, if you're saying Tyler Huntley is good as he is, why wouldn't you use that money to go and buy some weapons? Why wouldn't you use that money that you plan on paying Lamar to go get him some weapons?
Here's my saying. The reason why I'm saying that he's a good backup, but the reason why I'm saying we're not going to do that. Look at his record, though.
Yeah.
Best backup wins, Cooper Rush. But I'm saying the reason why I say Lamar shouldn't play, I'm like, for health reasons. And maybe I just might be sensitive because I had knee surgery in college. And I know when you play on a messed up knee, like my knee was hurting, I had a sprain. And I was like, let me go play in this intramural game. It's a championship. Let me go and ball for my team. Blah, tore some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta be cautious, and you gotta be, especially for someone that doesn't have an agent already, which is people are using that as an excuse that they're trying to get over him. I also heard a report that somebody said that players feel on your team that Lamar is holding back. It's like a hold in, not holding out. He's holding in. He's not giving his all in practice, not really giving his all in film sessions because he feels some type of way with the organization.
He said something about that. That's not.
I'm saying,
so that's what is that true or is it not true?
I don't understand.
He said something about it. People have tweeted at him. He's replied to the tweets about it. This happened like weeks ago. I know what Wayne's talking about.
Yeah, and it said it wasn't like one player. It came from like several players on the team. So that's why I was like, usually when you hear it's like one player or something, like somebody might be hating. But when they say it's several players on the team saying this, I'm like, yo, it might be some truth to that. So you know what I'm saying? And if I was Lamar, I mean, I want to play and I love football. So he can play. I'm telling
you what it is.
He'll feel some way at the end of the day.
And I was about to get to this point too, is when Lamar went down, it seemed like totally different play calls were happening for Tyler Huntley and Lamar. Because Tyler Huntley was moving the ball, passing. And Lamar apparently, like, I'm thinking Lamar is getting different plays. And I'm not saying Greg Roman's wanted to sabotage somebody, but I wouldn't put it past Greg Roman because he's about to be out the door. He's going to be a Stanford's head coach next year, more than likely. So he don't care what happens to anybody. And truthfully, I think. But
I mean, I don't put it past, but I mean, the Ravens' issues, what I've said this entire year, man. I mean, I never was on the wagon that the Ravens is the team people believe they are. I think they're a solid team, but me personally, in this league, man, you need weapons to win games. That's just what it is. I mean, every quarterback across the league has someone. He has nothing.
Tavares, question for you. Before the season started, you had to think, where did you have the Ravens receiving core?
There were worse guys before.
They're dead last, man.
There were worse ones. There were a couple.
So I wasn't
there were at least two worse teams.
When I said,
I think the only one that's even arguable is the Bears. I think that's the only one.
I had y'all at 31. I had you at 31.
Bears in Houston.
You ain't appreciate me having you at 31.
And
I don't know about Houston.
And before Christian Watson started balling,
Brandon Cooks is a legit
before
receiver
Christian
one.
Watson started balling, you could say the Packers.
I mean, that's fair too, but
Alan
you had
Lazard would be
Sammy
receiver
Watkins.
ones on your team.
Sammy Watkins may be washed, but he still has done something to give you some kind of confidence in him.
Alan Lazard would be the receiver one on your team.
Alan Lazard will be our receiver one. I'm not gonna lie.
I like that. My boy Bateman. I can't say that about Bateman.
But that man been hurt for 2 years.
Yeah,
Don't talk about street clothes, man. Don't talk about street clothes. But all right, Chubbs. Now, do you legitimately think you guys are going to make the playoffs?
Yeah, I don't see why not. This is what I'll say. Starting from the beginning of the year, our defensive our defense was towards the bottom because of all those passing yards. If you look at us now, we moved up to 13 from the bottom half. So we're we're right behind the Bengals. So we have a good defense. The defense can keep this team.
I feel like
y'all
ain't playing no good QBs in that stretch where y'all got
If
back.
the defense can keep this team in the game, yes.
So you're not retorting to me saying you guys haven't played.
We're making playoffs, Wayne. If you're trying to tell me I'm not playing, we're making playoffs.
Chris, this is the first time where I'm actually have to go against you because I need the Bengals to jump y'all in the division.
That's up to you, but we're not. That's not happening.
If y'all lose the rest of
they
your
losing
games,
4 games. They gonna win 1.
The rest of your games.
We're not losing 4 games.
The Patriots get that spot, bro.
Did you think you guys were gonna lose 7 last year?
I also didn't think Lamar was gonna be out 7 games.
When he got hurt. I'm talking about when he got hurt.
We had a tougher schedule last year when he got hurt. We had the Rams, Buccaneers, and Packers in that stretch. So
y'all play us twice. Y'all play the Bengals. I'm saying
I'm not worried about your Steelers. Like, why are you talking about the Steelers?
It's crazy.
That's crazy
because even if we're bad, it's still a hard game.
Because look, you're gonna have to beat us. Listen, everybody. It's rivalry week. This weekend, you're gonna have to beat us through the air. Which, if you do, great. Najee's getting that shit shut down by Rokon. That shit's dead this weekend. Najee's gonna have a terrible game. Put that on. Bet it. Don't even bet him having a lot of yards.
What did I tell you? What did I say in the group chat?
You're not sweeping us.
I said George Pickens is gonna have a career day.
We'll see.
Versus you guys. I'm not your DBs don't fear nobody, and then you guys can't move the
Marcus
ball.
Williams is coming back.
I saw you guys for 3.5 quarters have 3 points versus the Carolina Panthers.
We'll see, Lane. We'll see. We got Big Marcus Williams coming back in that secondary.
Y'all couldn't handle Zay Jones. I'm not worried about it.
That's fine.
I'm not worried about it.
I'm not worried about you.
But I'm gonna talk about my Steelers now.
Let's
get to it, man.
Y'all beat the Colts and y'all some big shit.
And you lost to the Jaguars.
That's fine. Hey, any given Sunday.
Some way, somehow, we are still in position.
You're dead last. You're 12th. How's that some way, somehow?
Can you let me finish?
No.
That's saying we're some way, somehow in position to possibly win out. We have very winnable games. We have the Ravens, right? And Lamar possibly won't play in any of those games. Even if Lamar was playing in those games, historically, he has played terrible versus us. He has, I believe it said 4 total touchdowns, running and passing. In passing, he only got 2. And he has 6 interceptions versus the Steelers, right? We're getting in our groove finally back. We've been able to run the ball. I'll give the Ravens something. They do have a good rushing defense, so probably won't be able to run the ball as effectively as we have in these last 5 weeks. But again, when I look at these DBs, I see no fear. I see candy. It's sweet. It's very sweet out there.
Your best thing, what you just said, your best thing about your team is the rushing game, and you think it's going to get shut down. Your quarterback has thrown 1,800 yards, 4 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and he's about to ball out.
Yeah, versus you guys. This is where things are made, right? You're not truly. You know why I feel confident? Because the Bengals defense, in my opinion,
he's got a 45.8 QBR.
In my opinion, the Bengals defense is better than you all. And we were able to put up 30 points.
I'm just going to be quiet.
Versus that defense, right? So we finally got a little click in. And then again, it's a rivalry game, right? our team is going to play. Mike Tomlin will have this team prepared to play some of its best football. And we play the Ravens twice. We play the Panthers, play the Raiders, and then we play the Browns. That Browns game to me is going to be a win to the playoff game. So I feel very confident in our team. TJ Watt is healthy, right?
Do you know how many teams you have to jump?
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, he doesn't.
The crazy thing
I'm
is,
about to say Miracle's gonna have to be working. Man.
Yes.
Listen. The teams that we play, we got to jump the Raiders.
You're
We
crawling.
You got the
You're crawling
Raiders,
to seven.
Chargers, Patriots. Who else? It was
Patriots gonna lose. Patriots are may
Crawling
win
on that stairway.
2 games. The Chargers, they still got to play the Raiders. They still got other teams that they got to play. They got to play the Dolphins this weekend. That's an L. They're gonna lose to it. I looked at all the schedules. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying. The only team that I actually see that can still make it in out of those teams that's left in the hunt, so none of them is just the Jets. Because I think the Jets probably could win a couple more games and not lose 7. I think all those other teams are going to lose at least 8 games. Patriots, you guys are going to lose 2 more games. You guys play the Bills and the Dolphins. You're going to lose those games.
We barely lost to the Dolphins, bro, and we split. I can see us losing to the Bills. But I'm just saying, regardless of us, bro, you are literally last in the last team in the hunt, bro. So you know how many things have to go wrong for y'all to make it.
A lot of things.
And
but time out.
And you got to have wait. Multiple teams need to lose, not just one.
Not just one.
All right. Now, what did I say? I said I looked at the schedules for these teams. All these teams that I've looked at have 3 losable games. There's 5 game left. They have 3 games that majority of these teams can lose, and I believe most of them will lose at least 2 of those games. That's why I think we can win out.
But I get
the only game
you bet start praying.
I get what you're saying, but like you're acting like the Steelers are good this year. Like
pray.
I didn't say we were good. I just said we can win out.
What makes you think that by some miracle y'all just gonna start balling and just
that's what I'm trying to thank you. Somebody asked the right question.
Y'all might lose to the Raiders, bro. Y'all just might lose to
the Raiders. Hey, now
the Raiders are playing good football.
They won, I think, 4 or 5 straight now.
Yeah, they're playing good football right now.
Yeah,
the Browns got Watson back.
Solid, man.
Josh Jacobs looking like a top 5 running back.
That's a winner. That's a winner go home game. So I'm just saying on the last game of the season, it's a winner go home game.
No, it's not. We're gonna.
I did say that. That's the only game I'm worried about in this 4-game skid. We're gonna beat the Raiders. We're going to beat the Panthers because we know how to score more than 10 points.
Panthers, so that's probably like
right. We're gonna beat them. I don't think Lamar is gonna play in these next 2 games, and he's not playing this week, so that's a dub. That's a dub, right? That's
if Lamar doesn't play, y'all win.
That's a dub. So
hey, if we beat y'all with Tyler Huntley,
it better.
That Monday I'm talking big shit.
If Lamar don't play good versus us, I know Huntley ain't gonna play good versus us. So that's why I'm not worried, right? Like if your quarterback has historically played ass versus us, and you want me to think your backup is gonna beat us? No.
Hey, Duck Hodges won a game, right? That's what you tell me all the time, right?
He won when he came in. Your guy didn't.
That's what you're telling me, right?
Your guy didn't win a game.
That's what you're telling me, right?
He went. Where did he go last year?
Duck Hodges.
0-7.
Duck Hodges.
But like I'm saying, I know people will say I'm tripping, I'm wilding. I just know one thing for sure: we're going to be 500, and I do think we have the opportunity to win out. Just with the schedules looking like Lamar being hurt, he potentially may not be there on January 1st as well. So. That's going to be a tougher game because that's in the Ravens Stadium. And last time we went to the Ravens Stadium and played, Lamar threw a pick 6 on the first drive of the game. But I digress. I still think we still have a chance, man. When you have a coach like Mike Tomlin, who's a top 3 coach in the league, no matter what year it is, it doesn't matter. We always have a chance. When you have a coach like him, there's a will and there's a way. So you guys may think I'm wild, but if you go back and look at these other teams, look at the games they have left to play, and the opponents they have to play, a lot of these opponents are upper echelon teams that need to get proper seeding, so they have to continue to win, and they're better than those teams that need to stay in the hunt. That's just a fact at the end of the day. So,
look, I get everything you said, man, and honestly, to be truthful, it just sounds good, man. Like,
thank you.
It's like,
that's exactly what it is.
I can't buy into Kenny Pickett, man. I just can't do it, man.
Listen. I was with you all season, but now I'm a believer. I'm a believer, man. But
and I thought I was crazy. Was saying the Patriots still about to make them. This man said these 5 and 7 still is about to make
they gotta jump you guys to get like
Bro,
they're gonna jump forward. No, they're gonna jump forward team. Not just us. They're gonna jump forward team.
No, the craziest thing is y'all acting like these 4 teams that are ahead of us are like 7 and 5, bro. They're 6 and 6. They have one more.
Raiders have a better chance of making.
They have one more win than us.
Yeah.
No, the Raiders don't. The Raiders have to play the Chiefs again.
Well, good thing you guys got to play the Raiders too.
So why is it crazy to say that all the teams in front of us have one more win than us?
Yeah, it's because
only one team has. No, only one team has. Only one.
Well, I guess.
Only one team has one more.
The Bengals just won, but
only one team.
That's the team we're chasing.
Y'all have the Bills and Dolphins to play next. They're better than you.
We're gonna split.
Did y'all split last year?
We got the Chargers, Raiders.
No, but we made playoffs, which is crazy. We didn't beat them, but we made playoffs, which is wild.
Because they have to.
Yeah, that is wild. That is wild. But I mean, me personally, man, I think if I had to choose devil's advocate right now, last team to make that final playoff spot, I think it will be the Chargers, man. I just think they're getting back healthy at the right time. Keenan Allen's back playing well. Mike Williams is coming back. For my money, I think Austin Eckler is the best dual threat running back in the league right now. And to truth be told, I don't think that's really close because this dude does everything you want him to do in a running back. Catch the ball out the backfield.
I said some Austin Eckler take.
Listen, I love Saquon Barkley. In fact, coming out of the draft, I said Saquon Barkley will probably go down as the most talented running back to ever play this game because he's that damn good. But with Daniel Jones and Kenny Golladay at receiver, everyone got 8 people in the box for the Giants, man. There's nothing he can do.
So I just want you. I'm going to tell you because the Chargers just lost to the Raiders, right? And they got to play. They got to play the Dolphins next.
Yeah, that's it.
Then they got to play the Titans next.
I like them.
Titans didn't look that good.
Titans aren't that good.
Weekends. They ain't look.
I'm not that high on the Titans.
They got bust by the Eagles.
Now the Titans are
that's
a real
the Eagles
team. Mike Vrabel is a good coach. You know, he's gonna have them ready to play. I give him that. But I just think the talent they have right now isn't good enough. That's what it comes down to for me.
They could lose out and still make playoffs because they're the division leader.
Yeah.
All right. So that will put them at 10-7.
Right. But if y'all win out, y'all 10-7. So it comes down to technicalities at that point.
Yeah, it does come down to technicalities.
We finish 11-6. I'm telling you.
That is crazy. I don't think they're beating the Titans, and I don't think they're beating the Dolphins. So that's why I said I'm ruling them out from there. But I'm gonna say, if you look at these teams, y'all think I'm crazy now, but when it happened, I'm gonna invite you back up to the podcast. And I'm
I'm about to say, man, if that happens, man, you gotta put me. I'm gonna come back, man, because I'm gonna personally congratulate you because you gonna hit that right on the head if it does happen. Because that'll be crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm telling you, man, crazier things have happened, man. Crazier things that happen. Before we get to our little keep it short segment, let's talk about the Eagles, man. So the Eagles destroy the Titans, like we said. AJ Brown clearly had some frustration to get out.
Yeah. What he did, Christian Fulton was just gruesome.
I was like, that's not PI.
That was horrible. I felt bad for him. I was like, my God.
You're talking about when he made him fall when he took it off his head. Which one?
No, you made him fall when he pushed him down.
Make him fall. He pushed him on the ground. So my question to you guys is, obviously, to a loss, Milhomme's lost. Hurts 1, Burrell 1.
Yes, no.
What are we looking at? How is the MVP race now looking at this point in the season to you all?
Hey, it's just Jalen, but DL, didn't I call this last pod? If Joe Burrow kept winning the stretch, that he'd be the MVP favorite.
Yeah,
And now Dak Prescott is being talked about it because the team keeps winning in Dallas.
That's nasty. That's
I did say that, remember?
That's disgusting.
Did say that. But I think Jalen Hurts is still the favorite. 11-1. You keep having big game after big game. I think it's Jalen. But I can see where they're talking about Joe.
You know what I'm go ahead. You got it.
No, you good, bro.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate. You know who just rose from the ashes? Josh Allen, bro. Josh Allen's probably back in the conversation to be a possible MVP. Is he back up in the top? He's probably back up in the top 3. Jalen Hurts definitely jumps up to the number, jumps up to the favorite. 2 is out of the conversation, in my opinion. And Burrow, I guess you can make his name in there, mention him in there because they are on a winning streak. He is playing very good football. However, Josh Allen was never really totally out of the conversation. We only counted him out because he I don't even know why we counted him out. Honest to be
he had some pretty rough.
No, he had some bad games. He had a bad. He
wasn't
well
playing like Josh Allen. However, if he does get that number 1 seed, if he does finish with 14-3 record, his name can be back up in that conversation, but it would be second to Jalen Hurts. But Joe Burrow's name being mentioned isn't far-fetched. So right now I think the finalist is definitely Jalen Hurts, especially because he's playing at a high level as well as winning. But I do think that Josh Allen, his name has risen from the ashes. So that's my hot take.
Okay, I see where you're going with that. But me personally, man, I gotta go Joe Burrow right now, man. I mean, this dude right now, as it stands, he's second in the league in passing yards and passing TDs. He's playing the quarterback position as well as you possibly can right now. He just went to Arrowhead, a place that no one wants to play at, and he's beaten that team multiple times, like we just said, in the same calendar year. So it's like, when you got a guy that's playing at a level that he's playing at right now, with the confidence he's playing at, with this team around him, it's gonna be hard to stop that, man. And when you just look at their remaining schedule, I know they got let me pull up their remaining schedule real quick. Let's see what they last couple of games. Because who they play next week? They got the Browns next week, and then after that they got
Bucks, I think. No? Yeah, they play the Bucks.
They got the Browns, Bucks. They got the Patriots. Then they got the Bills. Then they got the Ravens. So, I mean, to me, outside of the Bills game, there isn't one game they should not be favored in. I mean, you can argue the Ravens game, but the clear favorite in the game against them to lose would be the Bills game. And if he continues to play lights out like this, and he by some way or shape or form, he runs this gauntlet and they win out, there should be no reason at all why he isn't the MVP. I mean, this would be a team that start off historically bad in terms of sacks and their offense, and him as well with the interception issues he had at the beginning of the year, to turning into the player he is now. That is the Cinderella story for the MVP award. I think they would gladly give it to him at that point. And if I had to pick a second guy, I think it's still Pat Milhomme. I just believe the dude is just a special player, man. It just comes down to that, man. The man just simply is playing absolutely lights out each week, win or lose. He's going to put up big numbers. And I think Hurts is third now after the performance Tua had. I don't think Tua is necessarily out of the race, but I don't believe his odds are in his favor anymore. But, yeah, I got to go Joe Burrow right now, man, if I had to pick one.
Yeah, for me, it's 1A and 1B, with 1A being Patrick Mahomes. Like I said, I think the only reason why they lost that game is because Travis Kelce fumbled. Thing is, they don't fumble, they win that game, in my opinion, because the way they were just driving. I think they only had like 3 drives in the first half. And then they had like 3 drives. They had the ball a very limited amount of time because their defense just couldn't get on the field. And when they were on the field, they were productive outside of the missed field goal. And then obviously the reason why I have him ahead of Jalen Hurts is just because he doesn't. I just think what hurts Jalen Hurts actually is that him having the weapons that he have. So it's like everybody's taking it with a little grain of salt. Like, this is what this is what you need to be doing with those weapons. We have Devontae Smith. You have that defense. Like, they're winning games because of that defense. Everything that goes around that entire team. Like, they're winning just because that's the best team in the league, period. Zero weaknesses.
So besides Patrick Mahomes, and I can completely give you the Patrick Mahomes, MVP being favorite. Why do we not give Josh Allen a little bit more credit? Because of the teams that you just mentioned, he literally has the worst core. He literally has the worst core when it comes to
worst receiver core.
Yes.
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
What?
Yeah, he doesn't have the worst receiving core.
I think his receiving core is better than.
Is Gabe Davis better than Higgins and Boyd?
No, that is good. That's the number one.
I think that's the best. The Bengals and the Eagles, I think, have better receiver cores. But when you get to the Chiefs, you get to.
And that's why I can give you. That's why I say I can give you Patty. I can give you Patty because Patty lost his best receiver and still putting up numbers.
Right.
I can give you Patty. However,
I don't know if I could definitively say the Eagles.
Bro, we said that AJ Brown.
Goddard's been hurt,
receiver, bro.
Yeah, but Stephon is better than anybody.
I give you that.
Yeah.
You're right. Dallas Goedert is better than Dawson this year. You're right. Never mind. Because Gabe Davis
and Devontae Adams. And we were not saying Gabe Davis was good.
No, Gabe Davis is overrated. Everything that everybody thought
Gabe Davis came alive with that playoff game.
So the fact that Josh Allen is 9-3 he doesn't have a bad receiving core, but he has the worst receiving core of the three. He's literally.
He still has the best receiver besides Jamar Chase.
But core.
He still got a weight like AJ and Stephon Diggs.
Last game, Diggs only had 5 targets. Bro. It's not even like
that's not his fault.
Stephon Diggs, but as good as AJ Brown is, Stephon Diggs is still like twice the receiver AJ Brown is, bro.
I want to say.
No, I agree.
Stephon Diggs needs Matt Stafford as his quarterback.
Don't push
That's what it sounds like.
Twice the receiver, bro.
It sounds disrespectful.
I agree with that.
But that's just how good Stephon. Like, look, I used to not be on high as you were on Stephon Diggs, but Stephon Diggs is even though we have a top 10. But there's a difference when you get into that top 3. Those top 4 guys are better than it's those top 4 guys.
I've been saying best route runner in the league.
It's a giant leap after you get past that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that.
I'm just saying, as a core, when you got more options, bro. When you got more options, you should. I hate to say it, but you know my argument. That's what you should be doing with what you have, bro. Just like Tua, that's what he should be doing with what he has. Jalen Hurts, there's no reason. We said Super Bowl or bust for the Eagles this year because of the team that he has.
That was with the core team. Like with Tua, we ain't said that because he got weapons, but the defense we ain't know. This Eagles team in general, this is probably one of the best, well put together teams we've seen.
The Bengals too. Like the Bengals are a well put together team too. We say top 12 defense. You know what I'm saying?
But
we said the
Bills
defense was terrible, bro. The Bills defense sucked. Their rushing defense sucked. They missing 2, or they were missing. They're missing 2 DBs, 2 top DBs.
Tre'Davious White back now.
Well, did he play last week? Did he play this past week?
Yeah, he played these past 2 weeks now. He played.
I know Micah Hyde still hurt.
Yeah, I'm Micah Hyde out for the season.
I think he drove to Kansas City and ruined his season. He should have stayed his ass home. He ain't gonna drive to Kansas City, bro. Come on.
I just think we can't overlook Josh Allen.
I just think those 2 weeks that he played were really bad. And then you also look at the Dolphins game, he didn't play the best. It's like he unfortunately kind of got himself out of there while everybody got on fire. He kind of mellowed out. Yeah,
and then leading the league in interceptions isn't helping his case either. I mean, that's a real knock against
taking risks is good, but when they in the red zone, it's a bad thing.
Yeah, no doubt about that. But when you go 2 straight weeks and you got three INTs in the red zone, man, it's not gonna help your MVP case. And I think this is another thing that is a knock on Josh Allen, even something I've knocked Justin Herbert for in the past as well. They throw the ball so much to the point I expect them to put up big numbers. I mean, if you're throwing the ball almost 40 times a game, I'm expecting you to get at least 300 yards. I'm not saying you have to per se, but if you're that good and you're that talented, I expect you to get that if you're throwing the ball almost 40 times a game. That's a lot of attempts each game. Now, a lot of that is on coaching, but at the end of the day, man, I mean, you're not asking Devin Singletary or Nyheim Hines to win you the game. You're just not. So you went and got Stephon Diggs for the purpose of wanting to be a throw first team. They Gabe Davis, whether he's underrated or overrated, I think he's solid at what they ask him to do. He's a deep threat. He can track the ball well, and he does that at a pretty good clip. I think Dawson Knox is okay as a tight end. But outside of that, I mean, Isaiah McKenzie and these other guys that got, it's not good.
Yeah, put some respect on Isaiah McKenzie. I forgot. Isaiah McKenzie been balling this year too, Smooth. Stop it, bro.
Dwayne,
he on my fantasy
still
team, bro. He on my fantasy team.
Is Isaiah McKenzie better?
He better than Quez Watkins. Yes, he is.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, put some respect on Isaiah McKenzie's name, bro. He's from the crib. Don't do that.
He is for the crib.
That's why he's so high on him, bro.
He's from the crib, bro.
So I'm high on him too. So
American heritage, man. Put some
Teach his
respect on
own.
him. Never mind, I say this, but he got hurt though. That's why all right. He got 4 tutties this year. He knew that super spectacular.
Slumming.
You know what I'm saying? He out here, saying what gender baby's gonna be on the first.
He's Cole Beasley with a haircut. Stop it.
He disrespected Cole. But yeah, I agree. I think Josh Allen kind of pushed himself out. But if he can win, that Bills-Bengals game might be huge. Because if Joe Burrow finds a way to beat those teams, it's going to be real hard to not make him the MVP. And it's kind of crazy to say the way he started, he's going to come back and win MVP. That's going to be nuts. But we'll see, man. All right, let's get to our keep it short segment. We got some things Chelsea put on here. I don't know why he's doing this to me, man. So you guys have to rank these quarterbacks in order. We're taking the last 5 years, each quarterback that got drafted first. So this is between Kenny Pickett, Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield.
This is different.
And money-making Mitch Trubisky, man.
Yeah.
Chubbs, you put it on here, so I'm going to let you start. Rank them in order right now.
Ooh, I would go starting at 1. I'd go Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow be my 1. You know how I feel about 2 of these guys. I'm actually going to put Trevor at 2. Kyler at 3. Kenny Pickett at 4. Baker Mayfield at 5. Mitch Trubisky at 6. That's my order.
All right, man. So if I had to put them in order, I put Joe 1 for sure. I'm putting Kyler at 2, man. I think Kyler getting a little bit disrespected lately, man. I really do. I mean, Cliff Kingsbury is a damn joke at the coaching position, so I got to give Kyler the benefit of the doubt. So I go Kyler 2, I go Trevor 3, I go Pickett 4, I go Baker 5, and Mitch last.
Smooth.
Oh, man. Joe, Kyler, Trevor, Mitch. Mitch, Kenny, Baker.
I think exact same order as Smooth. So I got Joe at 1, Kyler at 2, Trevor at 3, Mitch Trubisky, who has led us team to 2 playoff appearances and has won 1 and should have won another if his kicker can make a 38-yard field goal. Kenny Pickett, and then Baker's obviously last. So, y'all, I can't believe y'all disrespected Mitch like that. Chelsea just did that.
Let me say this, man. I've never been high on Mitch since he came out of college, man. I mean, I just never liked this man. So I wouldn't. To truth be told, I would never believe in him. I don't care what situation.
I think Matt Nagy ruined him. This is my opinion. Matt Nagy.
North Carolina, man. I'm just saying, man. I don't know, man. I
I agree.
I don't know. He never I always ask people, man, just point to the one game he had in college that convinced you this dude is going to be good in the NFL. Just point to the one game.
Hey, check
That's
me
all
out.
I ask.
Check me out. We ain't watching no
Appalachian
Wyoming.
State.
We ain't watching no Wyoming games. So ain't nobody watching Wyoming.
Oh, that's crazy. Now you saying that. Now you saying that,
And
Deion.
nobody was watching Wyoming,
That's
man. That's
crazy.
what I'm
Now you
saying.
I
And
give it
before,
to him, man.
and before Stephon Diggs got there, they was talking about somebody being a bust. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, that's
all I'm saying.
You're right about that.
You know what I'm saying? And Allen Robinson clearly ain't who we thought he was. See him in LA now.
No, let's not do that. He was that dude at Jacksonville. Let's not do that.
When he played,
he was legit.
He got hurt, didn't he?
When he played,
Yeah, he got hurt.
When he played, he on his Bateman stuff. You know what I'm saying? When he played, he's there. But when he's not there, best ability is availability, man.
Right. I agree 100%.
The next one we got is a start bench cut. You got Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs, Ezekiel Elliott. Now, Chelsea, I got to ask, is this based on this year or just in general?
Right now. Right now.
Okay. Start it off.
I'm going to cut Zeke. I'm benching Jonathan Taylor, and I'm starting Josh Jacobs.
Man, that is tough, man. I got to start JT, man. And look, listen, I love Josh Jacobs, and I think it's criminal that he ain't get paid by the Raiders. He earned a contract this year, but I'm gonna cut Zeke. I think Zeke is washed, man. Tony Pollard is the best running back on that team right now, and I'm benching Josh Jacobs.
Move. I feel like we're gonna be on the same side.
I'll start Zeke, bro. Y'all tripping.
Oh no,
I have to start Zeke.
Never mind.
I think it's kind of opposite. I think because Tony Pollard has been able to show out so much, it's natural that Zeke doesn't get as many carries and just taken away from what he still can do. They got Zeke lining up at fullback. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not
Zeke goes in for red zone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Tony Pollard's more of a threat because he can catch out the backfield. You know what I'm saying? So they just use
He's more explosive.
Yeah. They, I'm not gonna say he's washed. I definitely think Zeke is still a downhill runner. But I'm gonna start Zeke because I just, I'm just.
He just,
yeah.
That's crazy, man. I ain't gonna lie. I respect it though.
I'm gonna bench Josh Jacob and cut JT because JT is disappointing from what he was doing last year.
Since Jeff Sundays has been a coach, he's been running the ball better. Just saying.
Yeah. He was hurt too, though, dude. He was hurt.
Yeah.
It's always an excuse, man.
All right, Wayne.
I'm cutting Jonathan Taylor ass, man. The only JT I know is City Girls, man. Get a nigga out of here, man. I'm benching Zeke. Even though, I think a misconception is about Tony Pollard. I mean, obviously he's quicker, so he's more explosive. But I think Zeke has been playing just as well. Shit, he's been doing good in my fantasy team. But, even when I watch, obviously he's not the same Zeke because they obviously wore him down. Because when Zeke was Zeke, he was top 2 almost every year when he was who he was. And then Josh Jacobs, in my opinion, has been outside of Nick Chubb, the best runner this year. So that's where I'm going with it, man. So I did not see the Zeke starting though. That was crazy to me.
He said, "We're on the same page, DM." I got Zeke. Oh,
I think Zeke got it. I just think Pollard just taking away from his carries, which is it's cool because they winning.
It's reserving him.
I don't know. Pollard's arguably been the better running back. Yeah.
He's just better. I mean,
people were saying that towards the end of last year.
Yeah,
right now he's more exexplosive. That's why.
Because he had more carries on his body, though.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah,
that's it. Because peak Zeke, Pollard and I was sniffing the field. So you know what I'm saying? It's just wear and tear. That's it.
I agree with that.
Next, we're gonna rank the linebacker duo. You got Roquan Smith, Patrick Queen, Fred Warner. You got Greenlaw.
Now,
Right now, Devin White, Levante David,
Mhm.
Jermaine Edmonds, Matt Milano. Chubbs, I'll let you start it off again. And you better not put y'all first.
My number 1 is Fred Warner and Greenlaw. My number 2 is Roquan and PQ. And reason I'm saying that, PQ's play has elevated since Roquan has joined the team, if you watch the game.
Yes.
Mhm.
Devin White and Levante David. Actually, I'm sorry. My third's Tremont and Matt Milano. My last is Devin White and Levante. Devin White and Levante have had a down year in my eyes. I know Devin White still has tackles. He's still getting tackles, but Levante David has been very quiet. So how can you be the top duo or top 2 duo if you've been very quiet? That's my take with that. They're not as good as they were the previous year.
All right. Man, me personally, I got the Niners tandem one. I think Fred Warner is the best linebacker in football. So
He is.
Not even close.
if he's on the list of anything, best anything, he's at the top of the list for me. I think Greenlaw is legit as well. For me, after that, I'm gonna go with the Ravens. I think bringing in Roquan Smith to pair with Patrick Quinn, I think that helped take a lot of his shoulders because he was a dude that he struggled in pass coverage, man.
Yes.
He could play downhill pretty well, but he struggles to read quarterbacks and he gets lost in playing in his depth sometimes. So having Roquan to help complement him helped him a lot. Then after that, I'm gonna go with the Bills. So then I got the Bucks. I just think, personally speaking, I think Devin White has been a tad bit overrated throughout his career thus far, man.
All right, wholeheartedly
I've
agree.
heard that. I've heard that before.
This is a dude that he has all the talent in the world, all the intangibles, man. But his eyes are just not disciplined enough, man. He looks in the backfield too much. He goes for certain moves on routes and sticks too much. And he's just not disciplined. And I think that's the biggest issue. If he learns to get disciplined, then he could be tremendously better. But as it stands right now, he's just not disciplined. And his technique needs to be better.
I wholeheartedly agree. I feel like the fact that I don't feel like he has like officially solidified himself as the best linebacker on that team is kind of worrisome to me. Like it's still like a question is he better than Levante David? To me at this point, like
Even though he has more tackles than Levante,
tackles don't say everything.
I know.
Levante David is still better in pass coverage. It's crazy.
That's true.
That's
true.
He's
Yeah,
older.
You're right.
Yeah, it's like to me, it's just like the trajectory where we thought he was going was he should be in these conversations with the Fred Warners and all the guys based on everything he has. Ran a 4.3.
Yeah.
He has all the attributes to be a top 3 linebacker in this league. He's never done that. So Smooth, who you got?
We said right now, so I'm gonna have to go 49ers, Bills, Ravens, then Bucks.
I got the same exact order.
Tremaine Edmonds.
Y'all really high on Tremaine Edmonds?
Tremaine Edmonds and Matt Milano should not even be in the conversation. And the fact that they are is crazy because they're actually making up for what the Bills lack, which is a secondary as well as a run, a D line. I think Tremaine Edmonds is a great cover linebacker, and Matt Milano is a great in the box player. This year at least, if we're talking about this year, and there's a big reason as to why the Bills are still in the picture. So
I'm not that high on Patrick Queen. That's just me personally. I feel in the same boat as you feel with Devin White. I feel like Patrick Queen should be a lot better than he actually is.
I agree with that too. I just think Patrick Queen's biggest downfall is the same downfall of Devin White. Is honestly their eyes aren't disciplined. They're not disciplined players. The problem with them coming out of college, they were so much better athletes than everyone else. They didn't need to really learn the fundamentals of the game and the position. So once they got to the higher level and everyone else is just as good, if not better, it exposed some bad tendencies. Maybe they can work it out.
No,
maybe they can work it out.
So the reason why
about Devin Bush too as well.
But the reason why Pat Queen is excelling so much with Roquan, I'm gonna be right now quickly with it, And the reason why he hasn't been that great in previous years, Wayne, and the reason why you're saying that is because in college, he was the weak side linebacker. His job was primarily run support. When he joined the Ravens, he had to be on the other linebacker because there was no one here. There was Josh Bynes, LJ Fort, and
LJ Fort was nice for a little second.
But I'm saying, but LJ Fort was that cover. He was playing out of position, in my opinion. He wasn't playing. He was playing the Sam instead of the Will when he's a Will. Now he's playing the Will when Roquan is now the strong side. So he and you can see how it's benefiting him. He now can focus.
No, he's definitely playing a lot better. So
and thank God he only has a thigh bruise and it's not a broken bone like I thought, because it collided with a 300-pound lineman, knee, right in the thigh, full speed, like at the car crash.
He ran into
Matabuke was running while he was getting a tackle, full speed, and dove, and Matabuke's knee went right into Pat Queen's thigh, and you could hear, you could hear some of them talk during the game. You could hear Pat Queen screaming in pain. And I thought, I was like, oh my God. I said, Dad, what's bones right there? He said, oh, it's a femur. He said, if he broke that, then that's his
private career.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a career name.
And they put him on the cart, and I was like, oh shit, it's something serious. Ended up being a thigh bruise.
Hey, at least that's all it is, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Perfect, man. Hey, man, but that was all the topics that we had, man. I just want to let the people know where they can find you before we get out of here.
Oh yeah, again, man. First and foremost, I want to thank y'all again for having me, man. I appreciate the opportunity to talk with y'all, man. I truly appreciate that. I'm grateful. And for everyone, whenever you guys want to follow me, see more of my content, man. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all the same username, Last Word Productions. Y'all can go ahead and go check me out over there.
And also, we also you already say you're a Dolphins fan, so we always like to ask our guests, why did you become a fan of the Dolphins?
Oh, I'm from Miami, man. It's
don't tell Wayne that.
So yeah, man. I knew you were from the moment he said the crib. I was like, I know if you're from down there, you know exactly what the crib is. So it's just given. But honestly, man, growing up, I love football, always played it my whole life. So it was something I just gravitated towards, and the Dolphins being the home team, I just rooted for them. So, I mean,
even when they sucked?
Yeah, even when we went 1-15, man.
That's crazy.
Game-winning touchdown to Greg Camarillo. I'll never forget it.
I was watching those games, man.
Yeah.
Can I get the Steelers game? Listen, man, I always tell people I grew up 5 minutes away from Dolphin Stadium, walking. Ain't no way I could do that, boy. Them was just too ass.
Same thing as about them Commanders, bro. The former Redskins, man. No way. Zero chance.
Boy, I remember one year there was like, yo, they giving away the Dolphin seats for charity because if they don't got enough fans, they ain't gonna be on TV. I'm like, not even on the list. That shit was crazy. But yeah, man, again, appreciate you for coming on, man. And it's nice hearing your story about why you're a Dolphins fan. I like, it's good when you see people stay loyal to, their city. I try. At least I'm a Marlins guy, you know what I'm saying? I'm there, but, I couldn't do it. The Hurricanes and the Dolphins, I just couldn't do it, bro.
Oh, man, the Hurricanes are fucking horrible.
I was about to try you, man. I was about to call you out and be like, who's the best player on the Marlins right now?
I don't know. I don't watch baseball, but hey, when we up. That's right. I'm watching. I told y'all I'm gonna start watching hockey too, so I can be at these Florida Panthers games, man.
Oh my God.
What I'm saying? Hey, man, we appreciate you again for coming through. Everybody, make sure you guys go ahead and follow Tavares on all of his platforms, man. Got some great content, and he be speaking the truth. I don't like defending Lamar on this podcast, but when people, I follow people that defend Lamar. So I be like, yo, they preaching, but I just can't say this because I'm a Steelers fan, so I gotta hate. But I be trying to. I be in the comment section, because nobody can know. I'm like, yo, stop trying him. You don't got no weapons. But again, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and if you're on audio, make sure you guys come to the YouTube and hit that like button. If you're on the video, go down to the audio platforms and download the episode as well, man. Smooth and Chudge, anything y'all want to say to the people before we get out of here? Hey, lift it up. Yeah.
Nah. Hey, I tell the people disregard that. They gonna stay at the bottom.
Hey, man. Hey, I just want y'all to know next episode when the Steelers win, prepare to be sick of me, Chubbs. You might not even want to show up.
Bro. If Huntley beats you guys,
I ain't showing up.
I'm not shutting up. I will be texting. I'm be FaceTiming. I'm calling.
I was like, something came up.
Oh, that shit.
Gotta watch my daughter. Sorry. All right, man. Until next time, man. My name is Wayne, and we'll see y'all.
All right, man. Y'all be easy.